For a quick Devar Torah, uh, we're entering the Parshat Shalach. Now, they're usually referred to as spies, and everywhere I've seen, except it doesn't say call them spies in the actual Parsha, it calls them scouts. And we know they're not really spies because we know their names. They're delineated all the way through. Meanwhile, if you look at the Haftorah for this week, when Joshua sends the two guys to spy on Jericho, we don't know who they were. Their names are never mentioned. And whereas the scouts went to Eretz Israel and they were feted by all the important people and this and that, because they were important men. The spies that Joshua sent, where did they go? They didn't go and make sure everybody knew who they were. They went quietly to a house, a lady who ill repute, to put it nicely, because they understood she would know everything because of pillow talk. And her one condition of helping them is that she would be spared. So they said, no problem with that, lady. We're on your side. And that she helped bring down Jericho. So it's sort of like, and so that tells us something. Tells us why did the spies give their bad report? They were afraid of losing their status. Because they knew that once we entered into Eretz Israel, they might not be the most important guys on the block. They also were afraid that all the Canaanites had so much power. History is replete with people are afraid to take action because of they thought the other side was more powerful. One of the problems during the American Civil War, McClellan was very slow to attack because he assumed the Confederates had more troops than they actually had. So he was afraid of losing a battle. Whereas Grant, on the other hand, was not afraid of losing a battle. He felt he was better, he would outthink Lee, and the rest is history. That is perhaps one of the most important lessons. And we see this today. I'm sure that before the current operations came into effect, the cabinet had discussed it, and they knew that it could possibly end in disaster, but they knew also there was no alternative, that Israel had to take action, and is continuing to take action. So, yes, you have to fear the other side, what they have, but also don't undermine yourself, because you can lose a war by undermining themselves. I mentioned this before, but in 1940, when Hitler was getting ready to attack France, France had the largest army in Europe at the time. The German general staff were scared to death of attacking France. What they didn't see was that within the French army, they were weak. They were demoralized. The German army was not demoralized. And that made the difference, that made all the difference in the world to the attack. So we can't allow ourselves to be demoralized. We say Tehillim, because even though we ourselves cannot take part in what's going on, and our brothers and sisters in Israel are suffering from the missiles, etc., at least we can say the Tehillim and give them strength through our davening. Something to think about